this on, bang, put a drink of water, and we are live. Presets are the perfect tool for you to keep a consistent look throughout your photo shoots, as well as it being an efficient way of editing as it speeds up your workflow. Over the years, I've been developing my own preset pack and my own presets throughout all the different shoots I've done, whether it be commercial work or more personal projects or street photography, travel photography, etc. I try to create presets that obviously match my sort of style and the style I go for most of the time. So across all my shoots, there is my distinct touch to it, which is definitely more in the warmer tones, like the yellows, the oranges, maybe a little bit of reds. And sometimes, depending on the shoot or depending on the actual subject, I could add a pop of color of blue and maybe a little bit of green, but the green goes a bit more into the yellows as well. Over the years, I've been developing my own style of photography, and with that photography comes the editing. The color grading is very important, and that's what finishes the overall look of your photos and your photo shoots. And with that experience over the years and with many photo shoots, I've created my own preset pack, which you can get from the description below or by searching on your search engine benlushi.com. In this video, I'll be showing you how I use my said presets, the Ben Lushi Volume 1 preset pack. Here I've made a selection from last year's Fotoconcorso, a beautiful car enthusiast event located by Lake Como. As it was a rainy day, I thought it would be the perfect time to take advantage of my dark and moody preset, because it works perfectly on an overcast day, and if there's raindrops, it brings out the detail of the water on the drops, on the cars, and in general works really well with automotive photography. So as you can see here, I just made a simple selection from that photo shoot from that day pretty much, and they all have, you can even zoom in here to make it a bit bigger. Let's make it 3. Yep. And as you can see, they all have similar color, similar style, similar color grading, even though there is different touches of color, but it's all in the warm tones, all in the darker and quite contrasty look. And if we go to the first one here, this Porsche, if we check the before picture, this is the final picture that I edited, and if we go back to how it was raw, you can see the difference. Now with the Ben Lushi Volume 1 pack, there is 15 different presets, and the dark and moody would be this one. Now as you can see, it already brings detail and contrast, and the base layer even removes a bit of saturation from the blues and removes completely the purple, and even, what color is this by the way? Magenta. And what I did there, obviously I use masking, and this would be another video. If we go back to the final image, you see I brought back some of the blues, and with masking, I'll just give you a sneak peek of the sort of masking I do, because that would be another video on how I use masking to really finish and put the finishing touches on the picture. I consider presets mainly a base layer for all your pictures, to then start working on them more elaborately and more in detail. And if you want to bring out more color, like here what I did with the blues, I still liked the touch of blue and red popping out of the car, and I feel like I needed it instead of leaving it desaturated. But of course it's a personal touch and a personal opinion. If you go to the next one, again here, very similar. In this one, the dark and moody presets was a little bit too warm to my liking, so I brought it back down to a little bit more of a neutral grade, though I obviously use the masking. So you can see the detail. We reset the picture, by the way. The focused area is already very detailed, but if you go back, it sort of brings back that contrast and that little punch to the image. Once again here, what I liked about this one is just obviously the detail, and with this one I can show you a sneak peek of how I use masking to really emphasize an area or to change a specific area of the image to how I like it. So if I remove this specific mask, this is without the mask, and I thought it took too much attention away from the Porsche writing. So I thought, okay, let me use the masking, warm it up. So the source of light is obviously warmer, and go down with the clarity to make it softer, as well as going up a bit with the highlights. That's my general rule with that sort of masking. And again, here you can see, we can check the previous photo, not this one. We can check the before and after. This is the before, the raw image. Again, because it's overcast, it's very quite neutral. There's not really any warm tones. It's quite, let's say, bland. But the dark and moody preset really brings that touch of warmth, that punch of contrast, and the amount of detail that I personally really like. Once again here, if you check the before and after, boom, you can see, especially here because of the yellow car, it brings out the yellow very nicely. I really like the yellow in this preset. And this is the sort of thing that I like to work on with the different presets. Like, for example, the dark and moody is quite warm and really likes the yellows. So when I have a photo shoot with yellow subjects like this car, or even this picture where it's mainly red, it's dominated by the color red, but the subject is yellow, and it brings it out perfectly, I think. The subject being the badge of the Ferrari. Once again here, the drops of the car I love, and the amount of detail, and again I used masking just to emphasize a little bit and to give the finishing touches to the image. And if you can see now, the raw picture is obviously very bland, and it's overcast and even desaturated. So the dark and moody brings it up with the color and gives it this rich and deep tones, especially in the blacks and in the shadows. Once again here you can see a bit more greens and a bit more yellows, but same thing, I just added a little bit of warmth after applying the preset, went up a little bit with the highlights, and use obviously masking to finish off the picture. Same car as the previous one, just a different angle. I love this picture because of the man in the foreground and his umbrella. That's just a nice little detail, and it shapes up the image. And I thought, again, dark and moody preset was working perfectly, because again it almost nullifies the blacks, but not too much where it's just invisible and crushed. I think also with the use of masking, it brings out a little bit of the blacks and might give a touch of warmth to the actual subject. But I love the pop, I love the drama behind this picture. And again, with this last image, another very dramatic color grade, you can see the before and after. This is the raw image, is desaturated and very neutral, but dark and moody again brings the drama and the storytelling, in my opinion, to the image. And if we bring it back, yeah, and then the use of masks again to emphasize this area and the car, and to bring up the shadows and some light and some detail to the umbrella, so it's not completely invisible. Because I think itself, without that, it would be completely invisible. So this mask really brings it up and puts it in evidence, like a co-subject to really tell this overall story of the image. It rains, it's a beautiful car, the colors, and the man with the umbrella. This was just a quick video to showcase the power of the presets and how useful they can be to keep a consistent look throughout your pictures, i.e. with this one it's got this moody and this dark and moody vibe to it, but also just to speed up your workflow. Instead of doing every slider every time for every picture, you apply the preset, you've got the base layer to work on, and then you can adjust the sliders as you want to really finish the picture off as you want, by using the mask, by working a bit of the color, by bringing back some shadow if you want. But the overall base layer is what's important. And another important thing is to not go completely away from that preset or from that base layer, because then it would also, I think, defeat a bit the point, and the workflow then would be longer, and the picture might result in something really different than the others because you've worked too much on it and you've deviated completely from the base layer. I'd like to remind you that this preset in specific, the Dark and Moody preset, is actually free on my shop. You can find it on benlushi.com/shop, or by just clicking in the link in the description. And next to it, of course, you can find the full preset pack if you do like the Dark and Moody one. You will find 15 different presets for all sorts of different environments and photo shoots and different styles of pictures. These are all presets that I personally use on all my photo shoots, and just overall a style that I've been developing over the years. If you do decide to support me by buying my presets, I would greatly appreciate it. You can follow me and even tag me on Instagram if you do use one of my presets. My Instagram is benlushi, BNLSCI, or you can again just click it in the link in the description. Thank you for watching. Ciao.